Hey, hello everybody, I have Jen here. In my previous video, I discussed the math behind the most efficient possible cake farm without any passive skill or star level investments. This had me curious about the maximum possible cake production I could get from a single farm using perfect passives and max star levels. While I was researching this, I decided to retest Mozzarinas and Chickipis at max level compared to their level 1 counterparts to see if they could become viable, and here are the results of that research. So I went out and caught 116 Mozzarinas and Chickipis, and in about 20 hours of research, I found that they produce about 110 to 120 of their resource per hour. Unfortunately, this is still a really bad rate, and you should never use them over a AFK money-making method, such as berries or nails or something else. The major drawback that ranch pals have is that you can't effectively increase their rates through any work speed buffs like passive skills or salads, but what they do get, however, is an increase in production as their star level increases. So for example, a level 1 Chikipi will only produce 1 egg every time it starts producing eggs. But at level 2, it can produce 1 or 2 eggs. At level 3, it can produce 1, 2, or 3 eggs. At level 4, 1, 2, 3, or 4 eggs. And then at level 5, it rolls from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 eggs. Theoretically, this would increase the rate by about 1.5 times at level 2, 2 times at level 3, 2.5 times at level 4, and then 3 times at level 5. But in practice, this rate is a lot slower. When they produce their resource, there's an animation for each resource they produce. So for example, if a Chikipi produces an egg, it has a 6-second animation. And if it rolls to produce 2 eggs, that animation will be 12 seconds. Each egg it produces increases the animation by an additional 6 seconds. So if we have a max level Chikipi and it rolls to produce the max amount of eggs, which is 5, we will have to sit through a 30-second animation. If it takes 1 minute on average for Chikipi or Mozzarina to produce, at star level 1, this will always produce 1 egg. So we get a rate of about 1 egg every minute. But we have to add that 6-second animation, so it's 1 egg every 66 seconds, or an hourly rate of about 55 eggs. Now with the 4-star chicken, which is the max level, we would expect the rate to go up by 3 times to 165, but here's what actually happens. A max level chicken lays an average of 3 eggs every time it enters its laying animation, and if this happens every minute, we get a rate of about 3 eggs per minute. But when we add that 6-second animation times 3 eggs, we get 18 seconds. So in reality, we get a rate of 3 eggs every 78 seconds for an hourly rate of only 138. This is only a 2.5 times increase in production versus the 3 times rate that we were expecting initially. So what does upgrading work speed do for chickens and cows? What it does is it lowers the time it takes for that 6-second animation to go off. So if you have an increase of 3 times the modifier of its work speed, it'll produce 3 times faster. So instead of a 6-second animation, you'll have something more around 2 seconds. This is a pretty terrible increase, as it implies that the maximum a chicken or cow can produce per hour would be 180 eggs, which is a terrible value. If we convert 180 eggs to gold, we get 180 times 50, which is 9,000 gold per hour at its utmost max. An AFK gold rate of 9,000 per pal is terrible, and for example, if I simply farmed berries with a 1-star Lilene and a 1-star Jormuntide, I would get a rate of about 12,356 gold per hour. Here's the math of that. So I took a level 1 Lilene and a level 1 Jormuntide, and I timed how long it took for them to grow a berry plantation through all its stages. It took a Lilene about 39 seconds to plant and harvest a berry plantation, and the total time for the berry plantation was about 139 seconds. 139 divided by that 39 time is 3.56 berry plantations that one Lilene can run at a single time. A Jormuntide takes 10 seconds to water a berry plantation, so 139 divided by 10 is 13.9 berry plantations that a Jormuntide can run at one time. If we want to get that rate of Jormuntides per Lilene, we do 3.56 divided by 13.9, which is 0.256 Jormuntide per Lilene. If we want to convert that 1.256 pals into 1 pal, we take our rate of 3.56 and divide that by 1.256 to get a rate of 2.83 berry plantations per singular pal. The total time for a berry plantation to harvest is 139 seconds, so we take 3,600 seconds in an hour, divide that by our 139, and we get 25.89 harvests per hour. We have to multiply this by the day and night cycle, as berries don't produce during the nighttime. We will get about 21.8 harvests per hour. If we multiply that by our berry plantations, which was 2.834, we get 61.78 harvests per hour. 61.78 harvests per hour times 20 berries times 10 gold, which is the price of a cooked berry, we get 12,356 gold per hour. 12,356 gold per hour is equal to about 247 eggs or milk per hour, which is significantly higher than that 180 max value you can get. But what makes this even crazier is that I can increase the Lilene and Jormuntide's work speed, which is a 1-to-1 increase to their rate of income. Additionally, starting them up increases their rates by nearly 3 times at max star level. Here's that math. So I went out and got 116 Lilene and Jormuntide, and I tested how long it would take for them to do a full rotation of a berry plantation. The Lilene plants and harvests a berry plantation in 16.1 seconds, and the total time for a berry plantation is 109.7 seconds at max star level. 109.7 divided by 16.1 is about 6.81 berry plantations that a lileen at max level can run at one time. A German tide can water a berry plant in about 3.6 seconds when it's at max star level. 109.7 divided by that 3.6, we get 30.5 berry plantations at a time. 6.81 divided by 30.5 to get 0.22 German tide per lileen. We do 6.81 divided by 1.22, and we get 5.58 berry plantations per singular PAL. Now to find the amount of gold we get per hour, we take the total time for the berry plantation. We divide 3,600 seconds in an hour by that 109.7 seconds to get 32.8 harvests per hour. We take that 32.8 harvests, multiply it by 5.58 plantations, and we get 183.1 harvests per hour. 183.1 times 20 berries times 10 gold per cooked berry is 36,620 gold per hour. 36,620 gold divided by 50 is 732 eggs or milk. 732 times that day and night cycle of 27 over 32 is 618 eggs or milk per hour. 618 is almost 3 or 4 times as high as that 180 maximum value that a chicken or cow can produce. And what's even crazier is that with passive skill increases, you can increase this rate by almost 4 times as fast. This shows that cows and chickens are very, very inefficient. You should almost never use them, as almost any AFK money-making method that you can do alternatively will produce you many more eggs or milk per hour than a max level Mozzarina or Chikipi can produce. If you like this video and would like to see more content like this, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much.